Welcome back to Basically a Therapist, but without the degree. I am your host, Lauren Larson, and I am so glad that you're here with me. And if you're listening during the holiday season, which is at this time of filming 2 weeks away from Christmas, I just want you to know that I see you. I see you. I understand that this time of year can be beautiful, but it can also be and feel like an emotional marathon because there's just a lot happening at once. There's expectations and routines and family dynamics and memories and holiday parties and gift buying. And it's just a lot of stress. It can be a lot of pressure. And then we walk into these gatherings feeling like maybe we have to perform, like we have to be on. Maybe we feel like we have to smooth things over, be entertaining, keep the emotional temperature perfect. And can I tell you something? You don't have to do any of that. Pressure off. Because your presence is more important than your performance. And I am speaking to the choir right now. Trust me. Your attention, your groundedness, your softness, your curiosity, these are important. These are gifts. And today, I want to help you hold on to that because showing up fully without overdoing it can truly change our holiday experience. And by the end of today's episode, I'm hoping that you are going to have some spiritually grounded and practical ways to show up with ease, with confidence, ways to connect that feel genuine to you and not draining, and ways to feel like you're actually living in the moment and instead of just managing them. And so I want to get into this. So first, what does it mean to be present? Because presence is not just physical. You can be in the room and not in the room. You know what I'm saying? We've all been there where we're sitting at a table with people we love and you're just checked out because you're mentally rehearsing conversations, scanning people for tension, overthinking your responses, or you're just flat out just disassociated, which is personally my specialty. But presence is different. Presence is emotional availability. It's relational availability. It's having enough stillness inside of you to actually notice people. It's taking the focus off of you and putting it onto other people. And when you're present, you start seeing things that maybe you normally would miss. Maybe the way that somebody lights up when they're talking about something exciting. Maybe somebody's body language in the way that they're telling a story. And what's so beautiful is you can notice people without fixing them. You can be with somebody in their story without stepping into the role of rescuer, therapist, advisor. And that alone is so grounding. And it just takes the pressure off. Have you ever been in a situation where you were with someone and you felt so seen and heard? Or maybe you usually are that person who makes sure that other people are heard and seen. Like those moments are important. Those moments stay with people. Even if it feels insignificant, it's not. This recently just happened to me where I was with somebody and I felt so seen and heard for the first time in a while. And I left there feeling filled up instead of drained. And I want you to know that those moments aren't created by effort. They're created by presence. And one of the things I want to bring up is Psalm 46:10. I was doing well. 46. Psalm 46:10 says, Stop fighting and know that I'm God, exalted among the nations, exalted on the earth. Another version could say, be still and know that I'm God. And I used to think that that meant physical stillness. But now I'm realizing and seeing it in a different light that it can be an inner stillness, right? An inner pause where it's before you walk into a room, before a conversation begins, you take a moment, you breathe, you check in with yourself. Remember who holds you, remember who holds the room, and let your heart settle. And so here's a question I want you to ask yourself before the next interaction. Am I available right now? Or am I performing? And be honest with yourself. Am I available right now or am I performing? So I want to talk about some practical ways that we can stay present. So how does that actually look like lived out, right? Let's talk about a few of these things that help anchor you in real time. And we just kind of talked about this, but like diving into it a little bit deeper is checking in with yourself. Presence start with self-awareness. Before you walk into a gathering, take a few seconds. Take longer than a few seconds. Breathe. Like notice how you're feeling in your body. Where's your head at? Are you feeling scattered? Are you tense? Are you already bracing for something? Or are you excited? Are you feeling good? Because I know that there's holiday seasons and there's holiday gatherings where we're already walking in tense and we don't even realize it. And it can soften you if you take that second to just breathe and check in with yourself. Soften up a little bit. It'll change you. It'll change how you walk into the room. It'll change how you interact with people in the room. It'll change the energy that you bring into the room because people can feel it. Number 2, anchor in your identity. Our presence flows from our identity. And when you remember whose you are, you can walk in knowing that you're loved and you're grounded and you're held by God. So you don't have to perform. Luke 10:27, it reminds us to love God and to love people. But first it's to love God. And presence overflows from our love for God. You don't have to impress. You don't have to prove. You just have to love. I think we tend to overcomplicate this and we get in our heads and we overthink. And it really is simple. Just love. And if you're not sure what that looks like, pick up your Bible. It is littered with love. All over the place. You see God lovingly showing up. Nonstop. Old Testament and New Testament. So if you're unsure, go to the source. I promise you'll find answers. Number 3, listen more than you talk. This is so important. I talked about this last week, but actively listening is one of the most powerful gifts that you can offer. When you are present and you are actively listening, you're leaning in. You're repeating back what they're saying. You're asking curious questions. You're following up. Again, last week I gave you this example like, oh, wow, tell me more about that. That can open somebody's heart right up. And again, it takes this pressure off of you and it puts it onto them. And that is such a gift because there's a lot of people that are walking around and they don't feel seen and they don't feel heard. They feel invisible. And when I say that your presence is a gift. It's literally a gift for a lot of people. I think there's a lot of us checked out and we're just so wrapped up in our world that we're not thinking about anybody else. And I get it, but it also means that we're not checking in with other people. We're not seeing other people. Like, yes, I understand we have our own lives, we have our own responsibilities, but we're also supposed to be in community with other people. And so taking ourselves out of our world and putting ourselves in somebody else's can change a life. And I'm not being dramatic here. There are some people out there that are struggling through the holidays and they may be thinking about taking their life because they feel invisible. And you stopping to give them the attention, giving them the gift of being heard and seen can change a life. Dramatic? Maybe, but it is that serious. It's a big deal. I hope that you realize that you don't have to perform, you just have to be present for somebody. Hold space for somebody. There are so many lonely people aching for somebody to hold space for them. It's a long lost art. Not a lot of people are really good at holding space. But you can be that person. You can literally change somebody's life. Because you don't know, I talked about this last week, you don't know where people are at. You only maybe see these people a couple times a year, once a year. You only know them from who they were 5 years ago, whatever that is. And you don't know what they're going through, especially if you only see them a couple of times a year. You don't know. And so you leaning in and listening and showing interest and caring and being curious and asking questions. Tell me more about that. I love this. I want to hear more. That sounds amazing. I'm so excited for you. Makes a huge difference. Number 4, use pauses as gifts. Stepping outside for a minute, refilling a drink, taking a second in the bathroom to just breathe, relax. Those can be resets for you. Those can be tiny pauses for you to kind of return to the moment if you feel yourself like checking out. It can help you return to the moment with clarity, with calmness, and honoring yourself while still being able to honor the people around you. And I just want you to do this little mindfulness exercise. I learned this when I was in school for professional counseling, and like these mindfulness exercises where it's just taking a breath right now and imagine walking into your next event with attentiveness and imagining you're noticing people. You're receiving conversations instead of directing them. You're letting moments unfold instead of managing. And that can change everything. Sometimes that's all you need to do is just rewire your brain, rewire your mind, because we can get stuck in these loops and it becomes a habit. And sometimes it's an unhealthy habit, but it's all we know. And until we stop ourselves, that's when we can start changing it. Stopping ourselves, noticing, and getting ourselves ready to think about things differently. Look at things differently. It's a big difference. So let's talk about showing up in conversations. And some of this I talked about in the last episode. But number 1 is curiosity-driven questions. I'm so bent on this right now. I am like white on rice right now with curiosity-driven questions. Like I said, we're connecting this to last week's episode, but curiosity unlocks connection. The right questions can turn small talk into just a shared moment. And I gave you some examples last week, and some of these might be the same, but what is something that surprised you this year? What's something that's been fun or random in your world lately? What's something small that's brought you joy recently? And these questions don't ask, give me a report. They ask me, give me a moment. And moments are where connection thrives. It's where it lives. Number 2, being delightfully present. Again, the art of being delighted. Letting yourself be genuinely interested in people, even in the small things, even in the weird, quirky things. Delight says, I'm so glad you shared that with me. We have those relatives, we have those people in our lives that just talk about the most random things. It could be like a new obsession with like a baking show or something their dog is doing. And the way that you can lean in and show up and let them be themselves and let yourself be delighted can open them up. Even if you don't care about it, like it just creates a moment of connection. And you don't have to stay in that conversation forever, but you can lean in, even if it's uninteresting to you, even if it's insignificant to you. Because guess what? There are things that you're interested in that are significant to you that other people that you're talking about or talking to, they don't care. But you want them to care. It means a lot when somebody's like, oh my gosh, I love that. That's so cute. Or how did you get them to do that trick? Or how did you teach them? Or what did you do? Or tell me more about this baking show. What channel is it on? Like, what are you loving about it? What's been your favorite dish that they've cooked online? Like, whatever. Because we would want somebody to show interest in us. So we can do the same for others. It's just a moment of our lives. Literally, it's a blip. It's a vapor. It's just and it's gone. It's not going to change your life maybe, but it will change theirs potentially. They could feel so fulfilled and so seen and so heard. Even if it's about a baking show, even if it's about their dog learning a new trick. Listen, if somebody wants to talk to me about my cats, it's on like Donkey Kong. I'm just going to tell you. You want to know about my cats? Sit down and buckle up, buddy. I got stuff. I love talking about my cats. I love talking about cats. And when I find other people that are genuinely interested, it lights me up. As dumb as that may sound to some people, there are some people I hear that I'm like, oh my God, I love talking about cats too. I got to get off this. Number 3 is to notice growth and change in others. Proverbs 27:17 says that iron sharpens iron. And sometimes simply noticing someone's growth sharpens them. It affirms them. It encourages them. It tells them, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see you becoming something new. And you don't have to announce it. You can just naturally compliment it. Hey, I noticed how patient you were with the kids. Or, wow, you seem lighter this year. These small acknowledgments matter. Again, how does it feel when people say these things to you? Number 4, stay aware of how energy is flowing. And I don't mean this weird new agey, like weird energy stuff. But presence doesn't mean being on the whole time. Look for mutual moments, the conversations that feel easy, and lean into those. Let the forced conversations be the shorter ones. Presence is about flowing. It's not about forcing. And so just notice these things. And it doesn't mean you have to abandon yourself for these things too. Because, like I said earlier, presence isn't just relational, it's spiritual. When you're able to show up fully, you're reflecting God's heart because He meets people right where they are. He listens without rushing. He's attentive without being demanding. He's not trying to fix. And you get to carry a small piece of that into every room that you walk into and into every person that you speak with. And so before your next gathering, just try this simple prayer. And it's, Lord, help me notice the beauty and the growth and the uniqueness in the person right here in front of me. What is something you want me to notice about them, God? What is something I can speak over them? You know, it's a big difference when you are so tuned into God that you can hear things from Him that maybe He's giving you a download on the person right in front of you. And our presence creates room for God to move. So I want to kind of put all of this together in a nice, neat little package and put a little bow on it. So check in with yourself before you're stepping into that next gathering. Make sure that your identity is anchored in God. Know exactly who you are in God. And if that's you, giving yourself affirmations, I am a child of God. I am perfect because of the blood of Jesus. I am a daughter of the High King. I am loved. I am cared for. I am accepted, whatever that is. Speak it over yourself. And remember, the people that you're about to see, that also applies to them. Ask curiosity-based questions. Show delight in what others are sharing. Notice growth and change. Call it out. Pause to reset if you need to. And let presence be the gift that you bring. Thank you so much for being here today. If this episode encouraged you, if you feel like it would bless other people, share it with somebody that you think it would help this holiday season. I think a lot of people need this right now. And like I said last week, I've just been feeling the pull to talk about things that create connection rather than preparing ourselves for what could potentially happen. It's like, how do I choose connection in spite of? And I want to talk about this some more. And next week's going to be the last episode of this year. And then it's Christmas and it's New Year and it's going to be great. And then we're going to dive into family stuff next year. Like we're going to be in the family stuff for, I don't know how long, but could be a while. Could be camping out in family for the rest of the season. I'm not sure. But right now, you can choose connection because your presence is the gift. I want you to remember that. And I'll see you next week. Bye.